Look, back and I'm better than ever. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen them. All of those times getting severed. I told them all I can let up. They ain't not tired of me never. Give me a shot and I oof.
Well, let's get into it.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, beautiful and amazing people? Welcome back to Power to People Radio, the People's Podcast, your non-stop shop for information on financial literacy, personal development, and everything and anything you could think of on being the best version of yourself. It's your host on the mic, Hugh Huncho, the one and only, with my main man.
Yes, sir. It's your co-host, Trey, back with another banger. Peace, power, and love to all those that's tuning in. And hey, man, today we got another topic for y'all. But like I always say, if you haven't tuned into the last episode, make sure you give it a watch. Make sure you guys continue these conversations and like and subscribe. But today we have some trending topics that's going on. We had the Hurricane Helene that came through and it did a number on people, man. I'm not gonna lie, the tragedies was over 100, and I heard that they're still looking for some individuals that are missing. Quick moment of silence for all those who lost their family members. Hope everyone, condolences and prayers to everyone who lost anyone during the hurricane, and then whoever lost their home as well. I know that can be a detrimental loss as well. Caused a lot of damage, bro. It's one of the biggest hurricanes, and it's being compared to Hurricane Katrina. And we all know what Hurricane Katrina did. So there's talks about the government. FEMA, if you guys know what FEMA is, they're a government entity that helps with certain disasters like hurricanes and catastrophic events that happen globally in the United States. And what it is they have people who are under FEMA go and help aid the people by giving them certain food, certain shelter, and then also they pay for certain things as well, like housing and things of that nature. Now, it is so ironic to me that we are giving billions of dollars to other countries like Ukraine, other countries like, I believe, Iran or Israel, don't quote me on that, one of those countries where we're giving money away, we're giving aid away, billions and billions of dollars. Let alone our government was so bold enough to say that people during the hurricane and people who were impacted in North Carolina, towns were wiped away, by the way, they only get $750. And they have to qualify. They have to only be making a certain amount for them to get that amount of money. $750. And there's literally towns that were standing before the hurricane came, and now they're gone. What's your thoughts on that, my brother?
That's a wicked work, bro. That's wicked work. That's wicked work, because you got to think about it. Our government's funding a war that, one, we have nothing to do with, but it's killing millions of people, right? Because they're giving aid to Israel. It's Israel, right? They're giving aid to them. And Israel is bombing, right, a lot of people that are a part of the Palestinian culture. But here in our own borders, right, in our own domestic land, folks is only getting $750.
$750. And literally towns have been washed away.
What are we really talking about here? What is $750 going to do to somebody who lost their whole building?
Lost their whole city.
They lost their house. They lost their car.
The roads are gone. The bridges are gone. It's like,
I don't know, bro. I think there's so much to that, because it's like, why is the U.S. has their hand in so many other dealings outside, but they're not focused on bettering what's going on here in their own borders?
It makes you think if the government is really for the people. Now, I know I've always been one to question the government, but I feel as though we're living in a day and age, in a time where everything has been caught on video. We're getting information at a rate that we never got it before, and the truth is being exposed more than ever before. So people who were a bit naive and patriotic and saying that they love America and they believe in America. I love the land that I'm from too, you understand? I just don't like the system that comes with being here. You understand what I'm saying? But I feel as though, and I'm happy about this, I feel as though it's causing people to question more if the government is really for us. And I feel like we shouldn't stop with the questioning. I feel like the questioning is good, is great. Now that we have these questions, let's create some action behind those questions.
Start having some conversations for real.
Some conversations, but also some organization. Because if we see that the government is so willing to give these other countries billions of dollars, and there's people in cities that have been wiped away and they only get $750 if they qualify, bro, that don't sit right with me. And I feel as though we should have our own like organization or something like what we're going to talk about soon, how people go on strike about certain things, right? Like the port strikes. We need to start marching again. We need to come together. We need to do something to really get the government to understand that, like, we see y'all and we see the things that y'all are not doing. All the lies, all the political propaganda, pushing narratives that y'all are going to do stuff and that's and end up not really doing it. Like, we're like, come on, I feel like that game is over with.
Yeah.
There's no more hope in the government. There's no more hope in the system. We need to understand that if we want hope, you gotta look in the mirror and look at your brother and your sister and be willing to lock arms with one another and realize that we need to come together and band together and stand for what we feel as though is right. And what is right is the fact that, well, we'll say what's wrong. What's wrong is the fact that we've been living in this land for so many years and we've seen some progression in certain areas. However, when it comes to catastrophic events, when it comes to how the state of the economy, when it comes to the state of certain minority groups getting prioritized as far as having opportunities, and there was already people here who've been suffering, I mean, there's just so much to unpack. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. And I know everybody's tired of it too, but I feel like the conversation is okay. However, we've been conversating about this for so long. The other episode, I mentioned Tupac, and one of his interviews, he talked about how they have money to fund the Middle East, but they don't have food to feed the homeless in the streets. I think he said that on a song or an interview, one of the two. And it's like,
that don't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, but it's always been a conversation. How much more are we going to continue to think and question?
Seems like our taxes is going to fund wars,
yes,
and help other people, but not what's really going on here.
Right.
Seems like that's exactly what's going on.
Exactly.
And I didn't sign up for that. I don't think anywhere on their tax bill they said, "Oh, the money that the money and time that I'm spending of my life, go take that money and go bomb another country," or you know what I'm saying? Like, no, go fix the roads, go help the people that are in my neighborhood that can't afford to have a job or can't afford housing. That's what they should be spending our money on. And it's almost to a point where it's almost blatant at this point.
100%.
It's almost blatant at this point.
And one thing I forgot to add, the government so bold enough said this as well. Guess what they said? Not only are they only handing out $750 for this catastrophe that just took place, but they also said that FEMA, the organization that helps people in catastrophic events, is broke. And they don't have any more money to fund hurricanes.
How is that possible?
How is that possible when we just gave another $500 million, another $1 billion to Ukraine?
Yeah.
How?
How y'all don't got, what y'all doing with the money? That's my question, is what y'all doing with the money, bro?
How don't you have, that doesn't make any sense to me.
That's like somebody who has a bunch of pair of sneakers, but they can't pay their rent. It's like, what you doing with the money?
You feel me, man?
What you doing with the money, bro?
Oh my goodness, it's like, I love the land that I was born and raised on, but like I said, the system, it makes me angry, bro. And I have enough emotional intelligence not to crash out. You know, I will say though, other topics and other conversations and other things that we're prioritizing, it might not be as prevalent as certain things that we're undermining. I feel like our individual health and well-being should be number one, our relationship with God and our family members, obviously. However, the state of the country that you're living in and also other affairs that are going on globally should also be in your concern, because whether you know it or not, it affects how you live. So I feel as though people are like, yeah, I don't need to hear about that. Well, you got the wrong mindset behind that, in my personal opinion. Because if something affects you, why don't you want to know about it? why don't you want to create change in some sort of way? Mm-hmm. Do you feel so hopeless to the fact that you're just okay with living a certain life, that you're okay with people stomping and standing on you? And I know we kind of going in a lot of we're going in a lot of topics right now, but I want to challenge the mindset of the person who is quick to buck up at their own people, and y'all know what I'm talking about. They step on your shoes, they look at you the wrong way, or they say something that you feel is disrespectful. The YNs, that's slang for y'all know what I mean. The YNs out there are quick to up and buck and let it spray and Swiss cheese, whatever. Like, I'm using slang and terminology that the young people understand, but my brother, if you're quick to do that, we can use that in another way in terms of if we were to revolt. And I'm not even trying to have that radical way of thinking. I'm just saying that same will to do that, why not put that into something else to fight for a better cause? Because that is pure ignorance when you're so quick to take someone's life or put your life at risk and go to jail for life over something as small as that. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to address the brothers out there, because there's a lot of people out there who are like, I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to blah, blah, blah. But it's like, you hate your own skin so much mm-hmm. that you're willing to do things to certain measures that are extreme mm-hmm. versus something that will help the collective. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be and have no dealings and no part of that. It's a wrong mindset, in my opinion. Yeah, but let's stay on topic, man.
Just for us to kind of tie those 2 points together, it's like we gotta start understanding that nobody's really gonna come save you. Nobody's gonna come to save us as a people. We have to be ready and start getting ourselves prepared to start saving ourselves.
100%.
Not only saving our own communities, but saving our families too, because that's really where it starts. Like, I'll be completely honest with anybody listening here, is expecting a tyrant to take care of you is literally lunacy. You see what I'm saying? It's like expecting a slave master to give you freedom. You're like, what are the chances? What are the odds? You see what I'm saying?
But that's where the mindset stems from.
What do you mean?
It is where we were on plantations, and we were promised.
No, exactly. Yeah, right. That's why people need to shift that. People need to start realizing like nobody's coming to save you. Mm-hmm. They're not going to give you the chains to your chains. Mm-hmm. They're not going to give you they're not going to give you the keys to your chains and your shackles. See what I'm saying? You have to be willing to start freeing yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically as well. Right? When we talk about health, right? If you are out of shape or unhealthy, you are in prison, right? Because in the event that you need to run, my Haitian people, they say, si te geo kui, right? That means that what if there was an apocalypse and you had to run away, you wouldn't be able to run, right? So you want to take care of yourself on all those different aspects and not expect the government to take care of you, because this is a prime example, right? That hurricane happened, a natural disaster, whether it was man-made, whether it just came from, nature, Mother Nature itself. It's affecting so many people, and what the government is doing, they're just giving you 750. Imagine if those people were already prepared for this hurricane. Imagine those people, they had, generators, or they made proper preparations with having bunkers, or if they had enough money to maybe leave their situation before the hurricane came, right? They wouldn't have been affected, and they wouldn't need to rely on the government to basically give them charity.
100%.
You see what I'm saying? You got to start thinking about like that. Not how is this affecting you, but what can you do to be unaffected?
And another thing,
boss ass shit right there.
I agree. Another thing about that, I just want to give some more details and facts about the whole situation in North Carolina, because it's sad and tragic. A lot of the stuff that's going on, people don't know, and they're not even privy of it. But the government didn't even give a warning for the people to evacuate. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if y'all know about the area that got wiped out, Asheville, and I believe 2 other cities that are nearby, but those are mountainous areas. Me, myself, I used to live in a mountainous area up in PA, and we didn't have flood insurance. Why? Because it doesn't rain that much to where the water levels rise up, because we live in the mountains. These people live in mountainous areas, and I work in insurance, so I understand.
They probably lived in valleys too. They probably lived in lower places.
So what is no? They could have, but what I'm getting at is they didn't have flood insurance on their homeowner policy. All of you are like, what does that mean, Trey? What does that mean? Basically, their home got wiped out. They don't have flood insurance. The flood is the reason why the home got wiped out. So no compensation from the insurance company.
So they just lost their home, but they still have to pay off the mortgage for the home that's no longer standing.
I believe. I don't know.
There's a whole thing that goes into that.
I don't know how all that works.
That's wicked then, because that means you have to go through that whole process. You have to figure out where you're going to go live. You gotta. I don't know, bro. That's wicked work.
A lot of the people are homeless right now. That's what I'm saying. I'm shedding light to that area, and I'm shedding light to the after effect as well, as far as them not having the proper insurance because they live in a mountainous area. They didn't get protocol, and they didn't get warnings from the government to evacuate. So number one, a lot of people lost their lives, and then number two, they live in a mountainous area. They don't think that the water level is going to rise that high and cause flooding. So they don't have flood insurance. So a lot of people might be homeless for a long time, or might really lose out on something that's very personal to them as far as their home. And I just want to shed light to that real quick. But to segue into a video, I want to talk about a video that I've seen, and I seen it on TikTok. I didn't have time to fact check it, but again, we're just shedding light in this area. So there's this guy who's on TikTok. He posted a video. He has his own private company where he comes out in catastrophic events like that, helping people get water, rescuing people who might still be in the rubbish of all the rubble that is from the houses and things of that nature. And he made a video, and he said there's no way to get to these people because the mountains they're so steep, and then the roads have been wiped away. So he's saying he put a suggestion that we need helicopters. We need helicopters out here flying out to these people to come and rescue them so they can spot them from an aerial perspective. They haven't been listening to this guy. They haven't been rolling out these helicopters. Now, I seen this video about 4 days ago, so I don't know if they started to roll out the helicopters, but prior to me watching, or as I was watching that, he was saying that they haven't been having no helicopters in plain sight in that area. So it's like, are they even trying to help the people? Like it's tragic. And then I'm not even going to mention the conspiracy theory that's out there. I would say if y'all want to learn more on that, do your own research, look it up on TikTok. But there is a conspiracy theory out there on why there's not being enough help out there in North Carolina and why the damage was as bad as it was. But again, prayers and condolences to all the families that are out there that have lost people. Is this something
about lithium?
Oh, so you do want to talk about it? Sure. Hey man, hey look, I know some people think a certain way, some people think this way, and I'm one to question everything. So we'll go ahead and we'll talk about it a little bit.
We'll just touch on it because that's not our main point, but I do want to have that as giving more reason.
Right.
You know?
Right. So lithium, if you don't know, is found in batteries, and in North Carolina, an agency in North Carolina signed a contract to mine more lithium in that city, which was Asheville, and I believe surrounding areas as well. But the residents of Asheville did not want to give up the rights to their homes, and they didn't want people mining around their homes for this lithium. They didn't agree with the idea. So, fast forward, when was the hurricane? September 27th, let's say, or September 30th?
A couple of days ago.
Yeah, it washed away everything, and now it's
in that same area, Asheville, North Carolina.
Same area in Asheville. Now it's so clear, nothing is in the way. No people to complain about their homes being in the way of the mining. It's a free minefield that they can go and get all the lithium that they want. Similar thing happened in Hawaii with the fires and the wildfires. They were wanting some of the land in Hawaii, and a lot of the land caught on fire. I believe it was from the volcanic eruption, or maybe it was just a wildfire that started out of nowhere. But like I say, I'm not going to give you guys too many facts, or my thought process on that too much. I would just say do your own research if you're interested in that. But that might be another reason why things are looking the way they are in North Carolina, which is another reason why I don't like the government, because they are very, very malicious people.
So it's like they might not even extend their hand to help you, but they also might be the person poisoning your food to begin with. That's very interesting, bro.
Bro, if we're going to talk about the government, let's talk about the government for a minute, bro.
The reason why I don't I don't throw that too far-fetched, bro. It's because, hindsight 2020 during the 1980s and the 90s, folks didn't understand what was going on with all the crack and the cocaine.
Hey, this boy be reading my mind.
You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Like, folks didn't know where this substance came from out of nowhere, and they just started using it. Hindsight 2020, now we see that the CIA and a lot of other government entities were involved in that whole entire situation, right? And I hope the universe holds them accountable, because government ain't gonna hold themselves accountable, but God will either in this life or in the next life. It will hold all these people accountable. So with that being said, one more second, with that being said, if we understand that the government has done this before, where they've put the poison in our food, and then after they poison us, not give us a hand to help us, why are we going to keep relying on them or expecting them to save us?
Exactly. Because like you just said, this is the same government that poisoned black communities by funding a war. Literally, they funded a war with the money from the crack that they poured into the communities. This is the same government that did experiments on people of melanin descent, the Tuskegee experiment. This is the same government who continues to put out a good light at the whole time they have a knife behind their back. You understand what I'm saying? So to my brother's point, there's just so much in the past that has been questionable. There's so much in the past that leaves a bad taste in our mouth. And I'm not saying we need to overthrow the government. I mean, that would be nice, but then again, I'm not trying to seem like an anarchist. I just don't like the system that we have. I feel like it could be a good system. However, there are some very bad people in place.
I was about to say that. I think there's a lot of unhappy people.
There's bad people in place.
Like, they're so unhappy that you have to do malicious things, or you have to not care about another human being. These people must be corporate execs who've been working in their position for years. They go home and they're miserable. You feel me? They don't got nothing. And all you can do is just spew out more toxicity and negativity. It's sick. It's wicked. But like I said, man, what you put out is eventually going to come back to you. So any negativity, anything that's not built off of truth and justice will eventually fall and crumble. You feel me? It's just that's going to take time to do so. So, I mean, I hope you guys definitely do send prayers to the people in North Carolina, in Asheville.
Not to cut your wisdom, definitely send prayers and condolences to those people. And then, like, if you like what we were talking about as far as the reason why things are the way they are in North Carolina, go ahead and research that a little bit. But there was another, I would say, semi-catastrophic event that happened east of Atlanta shortly after Hurricane Helene came sweeping through, and that was the chemical power plant that exploded.
BioLabs.
The BioLab that exploded, and there was chemicals in the air. You can see in the video, there was a cloud of smoke. And normally when there's a regular fire, the cloud is black or gray. This cloud happened to be like an brownish color, which signals that there's chemicals that have been inflamed and on fire, and it's not good if you breathe it in. So a lot's going on in the world, man.
A lot is. Thank God that nobody was hurt. Thank God they was able to evacuate the lab before any kind of explosion went off. They didn't really talk about what chemicals was exposed. It's just really interesting that if you know what exactly caused it, apparently they said that was some kind of spark happened that gave a false alarm to the water sprinkler system, and then the water mixed in with water reacting chemicals that were exposed. I mean, at the end of the day, I ain't no biochemist, right? I ain't no engineer and nothing like that, but I would just think, like, you might want to cover these chemicals, right? Like, you might want to put something over the lid, you feel me? Just so you don't mix up, even if it's just water, right? Because there's sprinklers above, you see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it could have been something even else besides that. Somebody could have fuck around and just smoking a cigarette or some shit, and they accidentally set off the sprinkler system. You know, something stupid like that.
100%.
So I know BioLabs themselves, the company that owned the factory, they're being sued by some people, right? Some people in the surrounding area because of the chemicals being exposed and stuff like that. I mean, nobody died. There was no fatalities or anything like that. So thank God for that. I mean, it is a tragedy because at the end of the day, we don't know what they were producing in that lab, right? Hopefully it's something constructive to humanity, but at the same time, you know, you guys just have to be careful because, you know, these work environments that you're being exposed to, yeah, they might say, you know, you have insurance and all that stuff, but you gotta still put yourself first. 100%. Because God forbid somebody was in that lab when it exploded, you would have been done.
Right. And I don't know if anyone got hurt or anything like that, but I know when it comes to chemicals, especially a chemical plant or whatever they called it, a biolab exploding, you don't want to be anywhere near that. So
you just don't know how the chemicals are gonna mix and compound and react. See what I'm saying?
100%. So if anyone's being affected by that, you know, prayers and condolences to those people as well. It's just a lot of catastrophic things that are happening right now, and yeah, I just want you guys to be aware of that, because it could be affecting you, or it could be affecting your fellow brother and sister, right?
Thanks, bud.